Hello once again. Don't worry, this isn't turning into the beer show, you'll be glad to know. It is still the bike show, and as usual, we have lots and lots to get through.
Yeah, don't give up the day job, son.
I won't.
Right, whilst we're working hard here, then Donovan is working very hard on the stage with a special guest.
Yes, we have with us one of the most famous lady bikers in South Africa. This is Skinny van Skalkwyk. Now, Skinny, primarily nowadays you're doing your, what's it, a blog or newsletter?
Yeah, it's a newsletter that I write once a month and send out to all my readers. And then I've got the blog on the side as well on Facebook, you know, all this media that you use.
What's it called? It's called Tank Girls.
Yes, Tank Girls.
Where did you get that name, or was it just obvious?
Well, it comes from Tank Girl, you know, a tank girl with the big tank that blows up everyone and it dates Booger. But yeah, it also implies tank girls as in lady bikers, tanks between their legs.
Ah, fair enough.
Tank girls.
But you're getting quite a sort of following. I mean, it's a newsletter that's emailed out.
Yes.
How many different addresses do you have now?
I have about 40,000 people on the list, and it's worldwide. I started out writing in Afrikaans, but because it's all over the world, and
weirdly they only speak that in South Africa.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit in Holland.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
And there was a photo of you on a pink KTM 950 adventure. Now that is like the most hardcore adventure bike. It was then, it still is now. And you were wearing big motocross boot, but a pink tutu, pink jacket, and a motocross helmet. And that went all over the world, if I'm right.
Yeah, I woke up one morning and decided I want to wear tutu on my bike, and I went to the toy run with it. All my friends were like, oh, here we go. Okay, Skinny's doing something crazy again. And someone took that photo and it just spread like wildfire.
But there was even, I think it was an American guy who flew out to South Africa in order to win a bet. What was that about?
A guy just phoned me. It was an odd number, and his nickname was Blaster Mike from America. He phoned me one day and said, listen, are you going to find it a bit funny if I fly all the way over to come meet you? And I'm like, what? All the way from America? And he says, yeah. So he flew over, booked himself into the Stanton Hotel for one night. I picked him up, we went out for dinner. He took millions of photos. And it turns out that the BMW club in America had a bet on about this pink KTM, and they said it's a guy on the bike, because they said women aren't tall enough. Yeah. And he just said he'll prove that it's a girl, flew over, took photos, and won the bet.
So the bet was enough for him to pay for a flight over for one day, just to prove that you actually exist.
Yes, it's amazing.
Now the reason we have you here is because you recently went to the world launch of the Ducati Scrambler, the new 400. What was that?
They sent me to Barcelona for the launch of the Ducati Scrambler 62, yes.
Why do they call it a 62?
That was the year that they launched the first Scrambler. Ducati launched their first Scrambler in 62.
Okay, because that kind of makes sense, because a lot of people are saying, Ducati called us a Scrambler, but it's not really sort of a motocross bike.
Yeah.
But what it actually does is it goes back to the original Scramblers, which, well, they look like that, didn't they?
Yes, they didn't much look like a Scrambler.
Huh. Now, the original one was an 803cc. Well, it still is an 803cc. This is a 400cc.
Yes.
What is the sort of idea there? I mean,
they're definitely marketing it as a lifestyle-orientated bike. It is more based on the youngsters. You'll see also their marketing material is more about skateboards and surfing and that kind of stuff. And they even have a skateboard bracket on the bike that you can pop your skateboard or your surfboard on.
So you actually just click your skateboard.
Yeah.
I mean, the launch itself, now normally when we go on launches, they tell you about the bike, you go on this long ride through the mountains and all that, it's all about the bike. This wasn't really like that, was it?
No, this was more city riding, because I'm assuming that they're focusing more for the city kind of kids and city commuting. So it was more riding through Barcelona, through the city, the street lights, traffic lights, and then stopping off and doing activities, spray painting posters and putting skateboards together. So
it really is lifestyle kind of more than motorcycle, which I think is what they're kind of going for.
Yes.
And there's a whole lot of knee-out action.
Yeah, well, I had to try. I must say I expected a little bit more grunt out of it. I tried to wheelie it, but I got it about helmet height, not much out of it.
You see, I don't think that the average Scrambler 62 rider is actually going to try and wheelie it.
Wheelie it, no. So, it doesn't have that much power out of it, but it's not an intimidating bike.
Okay, despite it being a little bit more sort of down power, 41 horsepower, you still got into trouble, didn't you?
Yeah, the team lead in our group, Beppe, I asked Gerardo, is there any rules for this launch? Because it's the most ladies that they've ever had at a launch. And I said, is there specific rules now for this launch? And he says, no. And I'm like, I looked at him and I said, I'll find a rule, don't worry. And at one stop, we stopped and Beppe, our team lead, started taking off. And as he took off, I thought, okay, now he doesn't see me anymore. And I did a burnout there on the sidewalk. Blew smoke all over, and the next moment I just got this pat. Okay, I found the rule.
Okay, before we go, I would just ask, okay, how do people sign up to this, your website? Where would they find out more about this? I presume you're going to put something about it on your on your newsletter. Where do they find it? Where do they sign up to it?
They can find me on Facebook, Skinny van Skalkwyk. They can also find it in my blog, tankles.coza.
So www.tankles.coza. They can find out more about the Scrambler. They can read about all your monthly adventures, everything like that.
Yeah.
And I must just say, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you for inviting me. It's awesome.